Hello and welcome to Theology on Tap. When I started this channel like a year and a half ago, what I wanted to do was talk about life and talk about the Bible and how it fits into our lives. And since I do believe the Bible is the truth, I wanted to see if we could encourage one another to live out the truth each and every day. And I wanted to do that over a drink. So I haven't done that in a while. So if you want to join me in talking about the blessings of God and how desperate it is for us, especially at this time, to go about receiving the blessings of God so we don't get involved with all this craziness that's going on in the world, where we just a lot of hatred, a lot of division, a lot of judgment, a lot of people unhappy, right? They want justice, they want revenge, a lot of curses and insults going back and forth. And it's just becoming an everyday thing where we're learning to really hate one another. And that's what the world brings. And the reason why the world brings brokenness in our lives is because the world is broken, right? If you're broken, then we're going to continue to spread the brokenness into this world. Whereas if we receive the blessing from God, then we could spread some blessings in this world. And I think we are in the need of a cheerful blessings in this world. One thing I enjoy about sharing a drink with people is that when you're about to drink, you say cheers, right? And that's what we need. We need to be a little bit more cheerful, all right? And the only way that I could know how to do that is to know, right, the blessings from God, so we could have the comfort of knowing that all things work out for great, that there is hope, that we could spread blessings and love in the world, right? I think that's very important. So if you would just pause this and get a drink and join me. I got myself a little drink from Japan. A friend of mine went to Japan, bought this drink for me and gave it to me as a gift. I think it's a really expensive one, right? You can't find this in the United States. She told me what this meant, but I forgot. Anyway, I took a couple of sips already, but I'll drink on one with you. All right. One thing I know, I think this is, I don't think this is sake. I think this is soju. It tastes like soju anyways, but one thing for sure, this is strong, really strong for soju. But cheers, all right? Seriously, cheers. We're in the need of it today. And may the Lord bless you. Like I said, we're in the need of a blessing, but instead of looking towards God, we look at the world. And the world is not a blessing, right? Because we focus on all the negative things that's going on in the world. There's the divide between the Democrats and the Republicans in America. Man, they hate each other right now, right? Because people seem to really hate Trump. He seems to be in trouble right now, but I'm sure he's not going to get impeached, in my opinion, right? It might happen, but most likely it's not going to happen. 99% chance it's not going to happen. But that means that Democrats are going to get even more angry. People are going to, and they're going to use this hatred towards Trump and the Republicans, trying to encourage people to vote for Democrats. It doesn't matter that they're becoming more of a socialist party right now. It doesn't matter what they believe in. It's more like anti-Trump, vote for us kind of a thing. I don't think that's the right thing to do, but I could understand why they're doing it. Same thing with the Republicans, who's going to look at what the Democrats are doing and say, oh, they're trying to impeach president for no good reason whatsoever. And whatever the truth may be, Republicans are not going to care what the truth is, because they're going to support their man, right? Is that a good thing? I don't think it is a good thing, right? Christianity would defend Christianity, whether what they believe is true or not. Some of the theologies that Christians teach, evangelical Christians teach, I disagree with them. But would people listen to me if I were to point out verse by verse where they're using the Bible out of context, or they have rearranged the wording, or they have replaced the words, right? Or even add or to take away words in the Bible to support their theology? Is that a good thing or bad thing? They don't care. Christians just don't care. Why? Because they value what their group believes in, and they want to belong to it. They want to please their group, and they need to know that they're approved by their group. That's very important to them. So if you look at Genesis 2, there is this curse that was given between a man and a female, right? So even today, right, there's a divide between male and female. when a feminist group says that the men make more money than women, that's been debunked so many times for the last 40 years. I saw a video of Thomas Sowell talking about it 40 years ago. It's crazy. And yet we still hold on to it as if it was the truth. Why do we do that? Because truth really doesn't matter if you want to belong to a group, you see. Belonging to a group and being approved by the group is a lot more important than the truth. There's a divide between white and black, or even between other races and different cultures, because there was Genesis chapter 6 that God confused us with different languages so we could be separated, and it's very difficult for us to unite. Right? So we'll bring a bunch of accusations towards one another, and a lot of them are just flat out lies. But doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because everybody has their truth, as they would say, because belonging to their group and being approved by their group is more important than the truth. Right? That's what's going on. So what psychology tells us is that we value ourselves by weighing the eyes of the people who are important to us. So if being a feminist is important to us, we would do we'll believe what they tell us, just the way it is. There are men who consider themselves feminist, right? And they believe whatever feminists believe in, they believe in, right? It doesn't matter you want to point out a lot of truth to them. It just doesn't matter. So what is the point of arguing with one another if we're not going to change? Only way that we're going to change and get rid of this divide is to take our eyes and our minds away from groups in this world, from other human beings, and receive blessing from God. Because getting blessing from these humans, different groups and whatnot, is not going to work. What does work, however, the best way to be harmonious in this life is to have good family. When a man and a woman love one another in marriage, it tends to make everything work out better. But do we encourage marriage in this world? No. Why? Because broken people doesn't like it when people succeed, or people are happy, or they're living in peace. They don't like it. So since they're broken, they want to make sure everything else is broken. So therefore, they come out and say, hey, listen, there are a lot of people are getting divorced. It's okay. Everything is fine, right? That husband of yours was a jerk. Screw him, get rid of him, walk out of it. We don't tell each other to work out the marriage. We just say, no, get out of it. And we make it seem like divorce doesn't make anything worse. The broken family brings about broken people, but we don't really teach that. What we teach is, it's okay. Everything is fine. Right? I mean, it's so weird how we believe in that because of the fact that we just want everybody to feel good about themselves. In their brokenness, we accept it. It's not a blessing from God, right? So one of the things I enjoy about going to church is that at the end of it, there is this pastor that comes out and blesses people. All right. He said, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord put his name upon your life and bless you. This blessing from God, I think, is very, very important. To hold on to that blessing is very important, because if we don't hold on to that, then we're going to hold on to the brokenness in this family, in this world. And regardless, all right, of what is true and false, it doesn't matter. Cheers. And even if everything was fine and our parents do not get divorced and whatnot, if they don't love one another, then they're not going to get along. And as children, we see that. There's broken homes, all right, and they fight. So therefore, the children is going to be definitely broken. I don't know why, right? Some parents are so disappointed in their children. Maybe we're not smart enough. We didn't do well at school to whatever. I'm an Asian, so everything is about education, right? But a lot of people feel rejected by our parents and stuff, so there's a lot of brokenness. But the good news is God says, God is going to come and bless us. And that's very, very important. Because if we don't receive the blessing, if we don't feel that we have blessing from God, then if I could just come up with 3 things that happens to us, is that we become seekers. If we don't have that comfort and peace from God, we're going to seek other things in this life to get blessings from. And whoever we attach ourselves to, that group is so important to us that we're going to do things, but whether right or wrong, to be accepted by them, and this is not good. The seekers are looking for love, looking for acceptance, right? These are the kind of people that I think just go from one relationship to another, going from church to church, or religion to religion. They're always looking for intimacy, all right? And I know in this life, especially in marriage, the female, the woman want intimacy. They want communication and things like that. And a lot of times men are not able to provide for that, right? But instead of receiving blessing from God, so that we're not in such a way of seeking these love and acceptance from other people, right? Instead of getting it from God, we start complaining about our spouses. We start complaining about circumstances, right? Always seeking to be accepted, right? Then the second group of people are the smothers. Okay, so if you're not a seeker, then you become smothers. They attach themselves, once again, they cling to a relationship, and whether it's good for them or not, it really doesn't matter. They're just gonna cling to it, because at least when you clung to somebody, if you're holding on to somebody, then, or some group, then you have that acceptance once again. All right. Or there are people that are driven in life. Who cares about what is right and wrong? Who cares about morality? Who cares about family? Who cares about marriage and having children? I could do all that later. But first, I'm going to be driven to make a lot of money in life, or become overachievers, right? Perfectionists, if you will, right? And we feel so good, or we feel that we are being blessed, right? In a way of like we got to earn it. All right, we have to go out and get it done. You could do it in the secular world by going after the money and stuff like that, which everybody knows. Having money is great. All right, it's a lot of fun, let's say, but it doesn't fill the void inside of people. It really doesn't, because there's never end to being driven. They just want more and more and more. I mean, if you think about a millionaire who wants to have $5 million, right? Think about 10 million people who have $10 million. They want to have $100 million. $1 billion, and they want $10 billion. It's just never ending. They're driven. But then there's also religious people who are driven, right, to earn the blessing from God. So they pray in the morning, they pray before meals, they fast and pray, and they go to church meetings, and they do all these things, and they're really driven by it, right? And we tend to measure our worth by how successful we become. And if we're not as successful, then depression comes in. And we're always going to be depressed by that, because there's no way of getting to the point where that the drive stops and say, I have achieved it. There's not that point in life, right? So without the great blessings of God, if you look at what's going on in the world, there are people who are seeking for love. They're going around looking for something, right? Looking to belong. They go around from one to another and trying to find a place where they could feel the intimacy, to feel comfortable. And they're the smothers who just cling on to someone or some group, and regardless of whether they're a good group or not, whether they use lies or not, it doesn't matter, right? As long as you're part of that intimate group, then that's fine, and you're going to attach yourself to that. And there are people that are really driven in life. Once again, they still have the void in their life, but they go on. And if you look at that, then, I mean, you have to agree that that's not being a blessing. That's brokenness. And everything that I watch on TV, the news, even sitcoms, everybody is broken, it seems like. Holy cow, am I living in a world? Is there another part of this world where people are living harmoniously? it's very, very difficult. I don't see it. People are just so quick to judge and complain because they're not blessed. How can you be a blessing to other people if the first thing comes out of our mouth when we hear names or groups or something like that is to curse? It's ridiculous how things are. We need to change it around. How do we do that? Well, since I'm a Christian, I would say that the good news is our God the Father is always ready to give us his blessings. He has given us his blessings. In his blessings, especially in Numbers chapter 6, what he says is, I'll give you the protection. The Lord is going to be with you and keep you. He's the safekeeping. Nothing could separate us from the love of God. So having a connection with God, which is eternal life, having a fellowship with God and his Son Jesus Christ is a huge blessing. So that we don't attach ourselves to the world and other people that could disappoint us. So that we are blinded to doing things that's not good for the world, to spread the brokenness. So we need to know that we're protected by God, that nothing could separate us from the love of God, and that he is smiling at us, and that he is gracious to us. We don't achieve his blessings. He's gracious to us. That's one of the blessings of God. Another thing is pardon. If you really think about it, if God has made us righteous, then we're going to be righteous. If God has set us free, then we're free indeed. If God sees no sin in our lives, we shouldn't see in our lives. Are we sinners or saints? According to God's blessings, we are saints. And if you're a saint, you can't be a sinner. Right? That's impossible. You can't be both. Right? We must understand that there is a pardon every single day. So we don't move on with the guilt. We don't move on with our shame. We don't move on with hatred. We don't move on with, seeking revenge. If we're pardoned, then we could pardon others. Spread the love. Spread God's grace. Right? And the third thing, which should have been the first thing, is peace. We have peace with God. God is not preoccupied with so many other things, in a way of saying, oh, you didn't do this, nitpicking all the wrong things or things that we made mistakes in or things like that. God, we're not at war with God, right? Romans chapter 5 is very clear. Since we have been made right with God through the faith of Christ, we have peace with God. If you don't have peace with God, you're going to have to, you will find peace and acceptance. You're going to smother yourself to a group. And whatever they say, you're going to say, okay, I'll do it. Right? People who watch, certain YouTube channels, they're going to listen to it and believe everything they say. And usually these TV shows or YouTube channels that talk about the news, whether it's left or the right, all they have is accusations. They don't want peace. If there was peace, there's no need for them. If there was peace, we don't need religion. So a lot of times religion doesn't want you to have peace either. But what God promises us is that if I bless you, one of the blessings is you have peace. Right? Because he wants to make our lives full. He wants to make our lives whole. So that today we could have peace. Right? So there is God's protection. All things work out for good. There's God's pardon. He's gracious to us and forgives us and accepts us. And there is peace because he doesn't judge us. We're not at war with God. We're not at war with anybody. We are one with God. We have fellowship with God. We have eternal life. That's the blessings of God. And if we have that blessing, then we don't need to attach ourselves. Right? And that's what he says. So, as I conclude today's video, oh shoot, I ran out of, just one more cheers if you can. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Right? Man, it's been a while since I did it. All right. May the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and give you life. May God give you life. So may you have peace. You can live the freedom we have with the Lord. don't become enslaved in certain ideas and the human faults, brokenness. I don't know why people want to rejoice in their brokenness when we could rejoice in blessings. Anyway, may the Lord bless you. He has written his name in your heart. You belong to him. That means you're pardoned. That means you have peace. You're always going to be one with God. You're always going to have his protection. All things work out for good. May the Lord bless you. Seriously, cheers to you. And as we bless the world, may there be a lot less brokenness and fights and accusations and resentments and all the other bad stuff. All right, God bless. Man, this is really strong. I say about 30% alcohol. That's pretty high, maybe 40%. That's pretty high for soju, but really tasty, nice and clean. Well, God bless you. I'll see you next time.